How's it going, everybody? It's Prod here, and welcome back to another Q&A video. Some of them came from my Discord. In case you're not in there and you want to join, feel free to do that using the link in the description. But, like always, if you have your own questions you would like to ask me, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. So, we'll start off with a fairly new one, and it says, if this Prepare to Dine game, and in case you guys didn't know, that's the new possible Fromsoftware game that was teased by Bandai Namco a few days ago. I made a video on it, you can check it out. It was only a few days ago, and I'd say it's pretty easy to spot. But if this Prepare to Dine game is really a Fromsoftware title, will you be moving over to that and stop making Dark Souls 3 videos? If it actually is a Fromsoftware title, which, you know, it's crazy how much hype has gotten behind this game already just because it might be a Fromsoftware game, and I've said, like, if it's not, this company who used this tagline is going to get a lot of shit for that. But if it is a Fromsoftware title, you can definitely expect a lot of people to move over to that. It does also depend on if it is a Dark Souls-esque game. So, you know, does it have PvP? Is the PvE fun? It really just depends on that for me if I'm going to be moving over to that game. But to be honest, I think if people still want to see it when that game comes out, if it is a Fromsoftware title, then the Dark Souls 3 videos won't stop. I think there's still a lot to do in this game. There's a lot of weapons in this game. There's still weapons that I haven't used, and there's weapons that I've only used once that I would want to do many more videos with. So, I guess it really just depends on if people still want to see this game, then I'll probably still continue uploading it, and also if that game is actually fun. But I guess we'll see, you know, when it gets announced if it is going to be a Fromsoftware title. We're going to find out here on the 20th. Another question about, I guess, moving to other games. Will you ever do more playthroughs? So, at this point, I guess I have done a few. You know, I did Dark Souls 3 in its entirety with all its DLCs. I did some of the Bloodborne DLC bosses. And I also did The Last Guardian, which is, you know, completely different from all these other games. I really enjoyed it, and I think the people who watched it enjoyed it. And I fucking love doing playthroughs. It is pretty difficult sometimes, especially since I don't have a lot of time to make videos. Like, I don't have all day to make videos. But for now, I'm not entirely sure. I guess, I know where the audience is, and I know what people want to see, so... Oh, I kind of forgot. Neo. I also did a playthrough on Neo. Let's not forget about that. But like I said, I do think I know what type of games people on my channel would like, and it's, you know, difficult games that are kind of like Dark Souls-esque type of games. It's pretty crazy that that type of game doesn't really have a title yet. Like, they don't have, like, oh, you know, first-person shooters and stuff like that. It's just Dark Souls clone. People need to capitalize on that fucking market, man. These games are going to be huge. I'm telling you, the Dark Souls-esque games are going to be huge, and I really hope we start getting some really awesome ones soon. But I guess when I do playthroughs, I kind of want to keep it in that line of games. So, you know, difficult games, Dark Souls-esque games, and I guess it also depends on you guys, you know, what type of games you want to see. I did The Last Guardian. Most people didn't watch it, but I think that a good amount of people did watch it. And even though the game was only barely okay, I think that there was so many funny moments in that fucking game that happened with the little rubber boy that I really enjoyed doing the playthrough a lot. So there's definitely always a possibility for me to do these random games that are not, you know, Dark Souls-esque games. But yeah, man, I'm definitely going to be doing more playthroughs in the future. Next up, we got a question about my dogs. Basically, how I got my dogs. In case you guys don't know, I do have two dogs. One of them is the face of my channel, and she looks exactly like me, by the way. So it's basically my face. And then I have another dog called Princess, which was the first one that I got. So that one I got way back when I was in middle school. It was pretty early in middle school. I think I was like in 6th grade, 7th grade, somewhere around there. So she's pretty old. She's a little old Chihuahua mixed with a mini pincher. About 10 years old, which is pretty fucking old for a little dog. But the way we got her was she was owned by a friend of my mom's, and then they couldn't keep her. And they said, oh, do you want this dog? And it was a skinny little rat when we got her. Because Chihuahuas, when they're small, they're fucking tiny, and they're really goddamn skinny. And I mean, we fattened that dog up like way too much, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I guess that's when we got her. It's pretty funny because both of the dogs, both Cookie and Princess, we didn't want them in the beginning because they were kind of annoying. First of all, with Princess, she didn't like sleeping in the living room. The way we originally were told is like, oh, okay, she sleeps in the living room, you get her cord and you kind of tie her up outside in the living room to like a table or something, and she would stay out there and she would cry because she would want to sleep with us in the bed, and she was kind of annoying, so we wanted to give her away. But then we kept her, and you know, it's been 10 years now, and I wouldn't, God, I don't even know what would have happened if we would have given her back. But the exact same thing happened with Cookie the dog. She was way tinier when we got her, because when we got Princess, she was already kind of like 6 or 7 months old, something like that, I think. Like less than a year old or about a year old. And then when we got Cookie, she was about a month and a half old. Sadly, I don't have a lot of pictures of her when she was that age. This is the only picture that I have of her when she was that age, which, man, she was such a cute little dog. I wish I would have taken more pictures of her in that state because I think it was really funny. She was adventurous as fuck too. She used to like throwing herself off the couch when she was a tiny little baby where she would have easily broken her legs. So for a few months when she was that tiny, we had to lay down blankets and pillows because she used to like flinging herself off the couch. Same thing goes for the bed though. The first day that we got her, she kind of put her arm down and she flipped and hit her head really hard. And she started crying the way little dogs cry. And I remember just looking, me and my brother looking at each other like, holy shit, she just killed herself. Nothing happened. She's a tough fucking dog too. Except for being a super scaredy cat. But we got her, you know, basically same thing. One of my mom's friends from work had a dog. She had puppies. She had too many. She asked if we wanted one. We kind of did want a second dog to keep our other dog company. And then we got her. And then within the first day, she would cry all night. And we wanted to give her back, and I thought she was annoying as shit. And then we kept her, and now she lives on my channel right there. But that is basically how I got both of my dogs. And I did mention my brother, and somebody asked, who is your brother? Which I do get a lot of questions about who he is. He's not a vagrant that just strolls around my house, and I just mentioned a couple times. He does have a channel, by the way. We've made a lot of videos together, mainly Call of Duty videos, when we both made Call of Duty montages. So if you like fighting games, check him out. You can check his link out in the description, or he is the first person in my sub box when you go to my channel. And I really hope people just watch this because I do get a bunch of questions whenever I mention him. So another question is, of all the Soulsborne DLCs out so far, which one of them is your favorite? So to me, I think this question is kind of like a no-brainer, and I think a lot of people would agree. The Old Hunters is the best of the DLCs because it's such a big DLC, it's such an awesome game, and this DLC is amazing. I think they put so much work into this DLC with the music in it. And I've always said, I don't know if you guys know this, but Bloodborne is, you know, the game with my favorite music in it of all time. The bosses are fantastic and well designed. And it's such a huge DLC because originally Bloodborne was actually supposed to have 2 DLCs. And I think they just decided in the end to put both of them together kind of and make it a huge DLC instead of 2. So for sure, The Old Hunters is my all-time favorite DLC for the Soulsborne series. And then second, I would probably say it's either The Ringed City or Artorias of the Abyss. I think it's kind of like a tie between both of those because Artorias of the Abyss is incredible as well. You get to fight Artorias, you get to fight Manus, you get to fight Calamite. And that dragon is hard as fuck, by the way. I think the first time it took me longer to fight and kill that dragon in Dark Souls 1 DLC than it did take me to kill Medir in the newest DLC. But definitely The Old Hunters, I would say, is my favorite. And for one of the final questions, I got asked what or who got you into the Souls series. Now, to be honest, I didn't watch a ton of Dark Souls videos, you know, like years and years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. I barely knew about the game. You know, I did know that it was notorious for being difficult. And to be honest, I was one of those people that was like, yeah, I don't know if I would really want to play this game that's really difficult because I would always see the box art whenever I went to GameStop. And I don't think it was really that big, like way back when Dark Souls 1 came out. It was only really as time passed that it got kind of like this really devoted following. And I did get into it pretty late. I wasn't there from the beginning. I believe it was like 2.5 years ago, maybe closer to 3. I know Bloodborne was already out and The Old Hunters wasn't out yet. I remember that. So I was pretty far into the series. I did get Dark Souls 1 because Xbox Live gave Dark Souls 1 away for free with the Games for Gold. And I ended up downloading it and trying it out and completely getting annihilated and quitting because I couldn't beat the first boss. And then like a month later, I told my friend if he wanted to play it at the same time. So we basically had 2 separate playthroughs going at the same time. And that time, actually, the only thing that I really looked up was, you know, the best starter class, which I ended up realizing was the Pyromancer. A good starting weapon, which you get once you shoot the tail off of the dragon, you get the Drake Sword. And that's pretty much it. I love my first playthrough, and it's something I'll always remember because it's one of the most fun experiences I've ever had playing a video game because I did go into it completely blind. Even though the game had been out for a long time already, I had no idea of any boss except for Ornstein and Smo. I didn't know what they looked like. I knew that they had a reputation of being like the hardest boss of all time. And I do remember playing it with my friend, and we would always be like, oh shit, maybe this is going to be Ornstein and Smo. And we would go into the boss room, okay, it's not Ornstein and Smo. And then the next one would come, oh shit, it's Ornstein and Smo. And then finally, that moment when you reach Anne Orlando and you actually fight Ornstein and Smo. Fuck. That was a real experience, and it's definitely one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time. And after that, Dark Souls 1 became my favorite game of all time. But yeah, I was pretty late into it. There wasn't really a single person that got me into it. I guess it was just I was bored and I needed a game to play, and oh hey, here's this Dark Souls game that I've heard a lot about. I kind of wanted a challenge at that point, and they gave it out for free, so I decided to try it. And I guess that's pretty much what got me into Dark Souls. And the last question we have is, will you be getting Surge? In case you guys don't know, Surge is the new kind of Soulsborne-like game made by the guys who made Lords of the Fallen, which was another Soulsborne-like game that came out a few years back. They also gave that one away for free. I played a little bit of it, wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was kind of clunky and a little bit slow, and I couldn't really get into it, so I never really, completed it. But the Surge looks a little bit more interesting. It does look a little bit faster. It doesn't look as clunky. I have seen a little bit of gameplay of it. I don't know if I'll get it right away. I may wait for some type of demo. I think there's a demo going on or something like that. I've looked it up and I've seen nothing. Maybe it's just some people got asked, oh hey, do you guys want to play this game? I didn't get asked. Of course I'm not gonna get fucking asked, dude. Nobody asked me for shit. But I'm not sure. Possibly I'll be getting Surge and possibly I'll be playing it. I don't know if it has PvP, but yeah, maybe I'll check it out. But either way, that's going to be it for today's video. I know it was a lot longer than I expected. Q&A videos aren't usually this long for me, but I hope you enjoyed it. I haven't made one in a while, so I thought I'd answer more questions than usual. I do want to make them more often, so if you guys have questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. That's pretty much why I don't do them super often. It's just that I don't have that many questions. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace, everybody.